Hello, today's video is all about the Fujifilm X-T4 and Barcelona. I went on a photo walk and took this camera with me along with the 23mm f2 lens that's attached to it. So let's just jump in and check out the results.
So here I am, it's a lovely day in Barcelona, and I'm at the entrance of the exhibition district of the city called Fira de Barcelona, and I'm going to take a photograph of these Venetian-style towers. All the photos that you're going to see are straight out of camera from the Fujifilm X-T4, just JPEGs with film recipes applied to them. In some cases, I did crop the framing of the photos, otherwise they are untouched. Here you see the same scene shot 3 different times with 3 different film recipes. I think they were positive film, nostalgic neg, the film recipe, and superior extra. The Fujifilm X-T4 film recipes that I'm showcasing here all come from a website called Fuji X Weekly, and they're set up in the Fujifilm X-T4 as custom profiles. As I was heading up towards the Montjuic National Palace, I managed to pop off these 2 shots. And as I get off the escalator and turn off to the side here, this next shot is with the superior extra film recipe. And as I'm about to photograph this imposing building, here is the full list of film recipes that I have stored on my Fujifilm X-T4. Now I'm going to try them all out, as well as a couple of film simulations like Velvia. To find all the available film recipes for the Fujifilm X-T4, check out the link in the show notes, and you'll be happy to also find out that there are film recipes for previous generations of Fujifilm cameras. Here's another film recipe shootout with this lovely view, and I've thrown in a couple of actual film simulations into the mix as well. After a while, I did settle on one film recipe that I used for pretty much the rest of this photo walk, and that is Portra 400. I think it's the V2 version of this film recipe. It just seemed to fit the sunny day that I was shooting in. It had a hint of nostalgia to it. It just had the vibe, you know? The sun was hitting the scene quite hard. I actually got sunburnt. And so I wasn't really looking for something that gave me lifelike colors. I really wanted to capture the intense sunlight and just how nice the day was. And it's easy to see the contrast between the action cam footage that you're seeing and then the resulting photographs that I was taking. They definitely have quite a strong look. And that's why I like the Fujifilm X-T4 so much. I have the best of both worlds. I can take RAW files that I can edit to my heart's content, or I can take JPEGs that are just ready to go. Now I'm going to play a little bit of the audio from my action camera, because it shows how excited I was at finding this Olympic Plaza. I'm not even really caring about what film simulation I'm using. I'm just taking shots here. It's really cool. One film recipe that I really associate with film photography from my childhood, and that is the Agfa Vista 100 film recipe that I think you're going to see in the next shot. You just gotta love these sun-kissed, expansive views. Just a quick reminder that the lens that I'm shooting with is the Fujifilm XF 23mm f2 prime lens. That's a mouthful. Which gives me a pretty wide angle of view. It's a kind of a nice balance. And honestly, if I need to get closer, I can either walk or I can crop in post in general and still retain a bunch of detail thanks to the sensor on the Fujifilm XT4. This is the Olympic Stadium, Lluís Companys. It was built in the 30s, if I'm not mistaken, but then extensively renovated for the Olympic Games. All the shots here are with the Portra 400 film recipe, and I think here the recipe does a really good job of capturing this sun-soaked concrete, and yeah, I just really like the look of these shots, and it's, of course, a great place to take pictures. As you can see, I'm trying to get different aspects of the venue, from seating details to the materials that it's built with to, you know, then more all-encompassing shots as well. I had no idea that this was going to be actually open and that I'd just be able to waltz in with a camera to take some pictures. So I feel very lucky to have been able to do that, especially since this was actually my first time here, even though I've been to Barcelona many times. Also, I don't think that the camera audio captured it, but at this point I could very clearly hear the rigging on the flagpoles was kind of being moved by the wind, and it was kind of creating this very relaxing symphony of oscillations and sounds. After walking around the stadium for a bit, I walked out and went to the area behind it, as I was going to start making my way up the hill. And next up, I took a shot of a peaceful bus stop detail. Then I came across this building, which sort of reminded me of a cut-rate James Bond location. And so I decided it would be another opportunity to do a film recipe shootout to see how this scene was rendered across different film recipes on the Fujifilm XT4. And I finally made it to the top of the hill. As you can see, there were some fortifications, and I enjoyed taking some more photographs here, including one of this very odd location. Yeah, basically it looked like some kind of traffic rules training area, maybe for children. So confusing. So I had to get closer to take a few more pictures, And yeah, I like how getting closer allowed me to kind of isolate the scene more and kind of make it more absurd by removing the context. And then from the corner of this fortress, so to speak, there are some amazing views of Barcelona harbour. And it took several tries to get all the angles I wanted to try out. It's worth mentioning here that I did crop the shots of Barcelona harbour that you're going to see with I think it was a sort of 3:5 ratio or 5:3 ratio, which kind of gave them a more sort of panoramic look. So it wasn't like a drastic framing crop, but I thought I would mention it. Another thing I found interesting about this photo walk is that even though there was plenty of light throughout the day, I still had to overexpose a lot of the photos using the exposure compensation dial, but sometimes by 1 stop or 1 1/3 stops. And it's true that a lot of these film recipes recommend that, but I just thought it was interesting considering that there was so much light. Anyways, thank you so much for watching today, and keep your eyes peeled for more photo walks on Montjuic.